Hey, what's up guys? Today, I'll show you a horror film called BirdBox. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. The movie reveals an invisible demonic entity that starts impacting the human nervous system around the globe, and it is not safe to go out in the open with bare eyes. The demonic force invokes the deepest sorrows, regrets, sadness, and memories in a person once he looks at the entity with naked eyes. The movie starts with a man transmitting a message via radio to Mallory that there is a community of survivors far down the river where it's safe for people to stay amidst the chaos. The man also informs that the fastest way to reach this community is by rafting down the river, but it's very difficult to make it with kids. We see Mallory mentally preparing a boy and a girl for the long and rough trip ahead. She delivers strict instructions to the kids by saying they have to stay alert and quiet all the time. Under no circumstances are they allowed to take off their blindfold. She bluntly tells them that if they remove the blindfold, they will die. Immediately after setting ground rules for the journey ahead, Mallory removes the birds from the cage and puts them in a box, then rushes towards the boat, blindfolded. After counting and walking the predetermined number of steps to the boat, she puts the two kids into the boat and starts rowing. In the next scene, the movie takes you 5 years earlier, where we see Mallory is enjoying her music and engrossed in painting canvas. She is soon interrupted by her sister Jessica. Jessica complains about the loud music while informing her about the people stocking food and necessities for a long haul, presumably because of what's happening around the world. Upon switching on TV, you can see airports and train stations are shut down in many countries, as witnesses report unexplained mass suicides. It first started in Romania, and now it's spreading at an alarming rate. The death toll has already crossed 10,000, and still, the pandemic bodies are unaware of the cause. Eyewitness reports suggest that people are exhibiting psychotic behavior, but the U.S. authorities advise people to remain calm. Jessica suggests Mallory go out sometimes and invites her to join for an outing later that day, to which Mallory tells her that she got an appointment with Dr. Lapham. Jessica cancels her plan and tells Mallory that she will join her instead. Mallory asks Jessica for an opinion on her current painting. She tells her that she sees a bunch of people sitting together, but all of them feel incredibly lonely. Mallory responds by saying loneliness is just incidental. It's actually people's inability to connect. With the conversation between the sisters, you come to know that Mallory is suffering from post-breakup stress and loneliness while being pregnant. Jessica complains to her that she can't raise a kid like this and where she will even put her. Mallory asks Jessica how she knows it's she. Jessica responds by saying it's wishful thinking. Later, Mallory and Jessica visit Dr. Lapham. Doctor informs Mallory that her due date is near. While Mallory is puking in the washroom, Jessica tells her that she will wait in the car instead. You see the situation in the hospital starts to grow intense with presumably unexpected events happening outside. While Jessica waits in the car, Mallory starts walking towards the hospital exit. She encounters a woman knocking her head on the glass, trying to kill herself. Mallory quickly realizes that it's happening now and quickly runs to the car. On the way back, they find roads with complete chaos. Cars are colliding, people are running and screaming. People are killing themselves after seeing something invisible. While Mallory and Jessica try to make their way through chaos, Jessica sees something in front, and you see her eyes get intensely dark. She topples the car to kill herself. Both of them survive, but Jessica takes her life by walking in front of a speeding truck. People are panicking, running, colliding, and dying everywhere around Mallory. Mallory is sitting on the road with complete shock at what just happened. After noticing that she is pregnant, a random woman runs towards her to take her inside the nearest house. Douglas, an ex-policeman, and her husband, tells her not to help and save herself instead. The woman gets affected by the invisible entity and kills herself. Mallory is eventually taken inside a home by Tom and Lucy. Douglas, who is already inside the house with Greg, tells Greg not to open the door. Greg opens it, saying it's his house. Douglas blames Mallory for his wife's death. The group is further joined by an old lady, Felix, and Charlie. All are rattled by the sudden turn of events. You can see on the TV that it has spread across the country, and the president has declared a state of emergency. They try to figure out what's exactly happening and conclude that they need to avoid looking outside, and thus seal all the doors and cover the windows. Charlie comes with a theory that humanity has been judged and purged. Now demons are here, taking forms of their worst fears or your deepest sadness or greatest loss. Most of them just ignore his theory since he works at the supermarket. However, they ignore the fact that he has been working on this subject for quite long, because he is writing a novel on the same subject. Back to present, it's been 6 hours since Mallory and the kids started their journey. Now it's dark. She feeds the birds in the box, and both the kids are asleep. Mallory tries to contact someone via radio under the blanket cover, but to no avail. Birds chirp suddenly, implying the presence of some entity near the boat. It's been 3 days now since the event occurred. We hear a knock on the door and a cry for help from a lady outside. Roop rush towards the door to let her in, but Douglas tells them not to do so. After an intense conflict between Mallory and Douglas, they let the lady inside finally. Olympia, who is pregnant, keeps whipping and tells them she ran out of food and doesn't know what to do except to knock on the random doors outside. Douglas, in a sarcastic manner, tells now they all can starve to death, since the house has now become a maternity ward. Greg suggests there are cameras around the house transmitting live feed. Therefore, they can see entities using pixels and heat. Greg even volunteers to do so, but Douglas advises everyone that it's a huge mistake. Douglas says that Greg and his husband are good people and shouldn't be doing this. Greg is sitting with his hands tied to a chair and looks out for the entity on the monitor. Greg sees the entity on the monitor and kills himself by snapping his neck, throwing himself on the floor sideways. Everyone reaches the room. Douglas destroys the monitor and tells everyone it is indeed a bad idea. Mallory and Tom start bonding with each other. Back to present, Mallory is still rowing the boat tirelessly and is suddenly encountered by a man who is not blindfolded. The man attacks them and tries to uncover Mallory's eyes, but he gets killed by a machete instead. Next, we see the survivor group in the house discussing restocking food and other necessities. Charlie reveals that he had locked the supermarket where he works before things got crazy, and perhaps they can somehow go there and get the supplies. The place is just a few blocks away. Tom, Mallory, Charlie, Douglas, and Lucy start preparing for the short yet dangerous ride outside. They cover and color windows to black. Group uses car GPS to navigate their way. They drive slowly through the way while ramping over dead bodies. Finally, they come to a halt when the car's proximity sensor starts alarming them from all directions. The car starts to shake wildly. Tom speeds up, and somehow they manage to reach the place. The team uses blindfolds to reach inside the supermarket, cover the windows, and hit the jackpot, where all the necessities are available. Mallory finds few birds in a cage and decides to take them with her. Douglas suggests to everyone that they should stay back at the supermarket since the place has supplies at least for a year. Mallory opposes the idea of leaving the others and strongly advises to go back instead. We hear a knock from someone in the back room. The guy weeps and pleads them to open the door. Charlie identifies the man and tells everyone that the guy works at the supermarket with him. The man has been to prison and is a bit crazy, but he has always been nice to him. Birds, however, start panicking restlessly, sensing the danger outside the door. The man's voice starts getting intense and he starts pushing the door. Tom and Mallory on this side are trying to push the door close. Charlie sacrifices himself by pushing the man outside. After that, they get back to the house with supplies. Mallory and Douglas are having a conversation about their pasts. Mallory tells Douglas he reminds her of her father, who is an asshole too. Meanwhile, Felix and Lucy escape the place, taking the only safe mode of transportation available, probably going to the supermarket. People rush towards the garage, but it's too late. Back to the present, it's been 24 hours now since the journey on the boat started. Mallory is still trying hard to row. A sudden collision with a stuck truck takes place, pushing the boy into the water. Mallory saves him in time, but unfortunately, they lose their blankets and food. Mallory hears a sound near the shore that probably comes from the house nearby. She parks the boat on the shore and reminds the kids not to leave the boat in any case. Being blindfolded, she leaves a trail of thin rope while walking to the house. Once she is inside the house, she collects the blankets and tries to rush back towards the boat, feeling the presence of the entity. Meanwhile, the girl starts searching for Mallory. Luckily, Mallory reaches just in time and takes the girl back to the boat. Back in the past, Mallory is trying to establish radio connection, while Olympia is talking to an old man standing outside the house. She opens the door, empathizing with the old man. Mallory grabs the shotgun and points it towards the old man. Everyone rushes to the scene. The old man introduces himself and pleads with them to allow him to stay there. Douglas strongly opposes the idea of keeping the stranger in the house. The old man reveals that mentally ill people are not wearing blindfolds and are not affected by the phenomena. In fact, such people are currently hunting normal people and forcing them to look at the creatures with bare eyes. Douglas doubts the old man and his story as he is still alive. Douglas snatches the gun out of Mallory's hands, but the old lady hits Douglas on the head from behind, making him unconscious. Tom puts Douglas in the garage and locks the door from inside. After the incident, Olympia asks Mallory to promise her that she will take care of Olympia's child in case something happens to her. Mallory gifts a small kitty toy to Olympia as a baby shower. Olympia smiles and hugs Mallory. Back to the boat in the present. We can see the girl is holding the same kitty toy, reminding of the promise Mallory kept. Mallory covers herself and the kids under a blanket to discuss the rapids. She instructs them that once they reach the rapids, one of them will have to look outside to guide her with the direction. The boy quickly responds that he will do it. Mallory gets anxious and responds that she will decide who will do this task. We can see the inner conflict which Mallory is currently going through. She has to choose between her own blood and the promise she made to Olympia years ago. Back in the past, we see Olympia's and Mallory's water breaks. The old lady prepares both women for the delivery in a room upstairs. Mallory gives birth to a boy. Meanwhile, the old man whom they allowed to enter the house takes out a notebook from the bag. The notebook has loose-leaf pages of demon sketches drawn all over. The old man spreads it across the table in the living room. The old man gets up and puts the birds in the freezer to kill them. He starts opening windows downstairs. Tom finds that the old man is missing downstairs and suspects something fishy. Tom tries to save the birds, but it's too late. He gets knocked out instantly by the old man with an object. Douglas starts panicking and getting aggressive in the garage. Old man goes near the garage door and opens the garage shutter for Douglas to die. Douglas tries to cover his eyes with his hands. Upstairs, Olympia delivers a baby girl. Old man reaches the room, takes a look at both the babies. Mallory, Olympia, and the old lady, unaware of what happened downstairs, get all shocked when seeing the old man uncovering the windows. Mallory and the old lady cover their eyes, but Olympia looks straight outside the window. Old man asks both of them to show their just-born child to the demon. Olympia is already affected and starts rushing towards the window with her baby, but Mallory manages to catch hold of her and tries to snatch the baby from her hands. Olympia, who is now prepared to kill herself, just hands over her baby girl to Mallory with the last ounce of motherhood left, before jumping out of the window and killing herself instantly. Mallory covers herself and the kids with a blanket to avoid direct eye contact with the outside entity. Old man forcefully opens eyes of the old lady in front of the broken window, causing the old lady to kill herself with scissors. Douglas shows up holding a shotgun with his eyes closed. He successfully takes a first shot at the old man, but gets killed later. Tom slowly gets his consciousness back, shoots the psycho old man. 5 years later, Mallory, Tom, and the kids are still struggling to survive. They are on the run from the entities. Moreover, they can be seen hiding from psychos as well. Tom and Mallory are in love and stay as a family with the children. One night, they receive a radio communication from somewhere afar. The person on the radio informs them that there is a community far away from where it's completely safe, but the only way to reach the place is to travel via river, and it is not advisable to bring children on the journey due to dangerous rapids. The person on the radio tells them that this will be 48 hours journey and suggests that they need to follow the birds once they cross the rapids. Down a small embankment, there will be a wall with a gate. The next day, Mallory and Tom start to argue about the legitimacy of the new information. Later that day, they argue again over the hopeless kind of life the children are having. In fact, Tom tells Mallory that the kids don't even have names and that they deserve a mother more than an instructor. The next day, while the family is preparing for a long journey ahead, they see a group of psychos who are armed with weapons approaching them. Tom separates himself from the family, allowing them to escape. While risking his life by removing his blindfold, he successfully takes them out one by one using his military training, but shoots himself after seeing the entity with bare eyes. It is then you are at the beginning of the movie, where Mallory is instructing the kids on the do's and don'ts of the journey. It's been 42 hours since they started, and now it's time for the rapids. Mallory calls for the meeting under a blanket. While she is still thinking about whom to assign the job of looking ahead in the rapids, the girl says she will do it. Mallory looks at the girl and the kitty toy she is holding. This melts Mallory's heart, and it quickly reminds her of Olympia. So she decides that she will handle the rapids as they come. She takes control of the boat, but her ability to see and navigate makes her lose control of the boat. At the end of the rapids, Mallory manages to catch both the kids. You hear lots of birds chirping around them, showing that the mind game of the entity becomes stronger. At one point, while running inside the woods, the kids and the mother get separated. The entity tries to personify Mallory in the ears of the kids while asking them to remove the blindfold. Fortunately, Mallory reaches both of them just in time. She holds them strong this time and starts rushing towards the wall with a gate, guided by the increasing bird sounds. She struggles hard to ignore the loud voices she hears while following the birds. People on the other side of the wall let them in. A man welcomes her inside a room, where they can remove their blindfolds. It turns out to be a school for blind. The man takes them further inside, where they see lots of people. This is a dome structure created with dense greenery above, where lots of birds reside happily. Mallory and the kids open the bird box and let them join the other birds. There you see Dr. Lapham as well, who is overwhelmed to see that Mallory has survived. She asks the names of the kids. Mallory responds the girl is Olympia, whom she is named after the sweetest girl she ever met, and boy is Tom, and that she is their mother. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your fun for today.